Welcome, friends, to the Crazy as Usual podcast with Donna Carlson and Nona Prather today. My guest, Nona, is the owner of Prather Marketing Services. She specializes in setting up marketing plans for professional speakers through phone calls, email campaigns, social media, and marketing materials. She has worked in marketing for 10 plus years and holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and business management. She has worked with speakers bureaus and individual speakers for many years. Nona also enjoys road trips and has a goal to see all the national parks in the US. Nona, I've got to hear more about this. My daughter has a similar goal. So let's start there with hi and a little bit about your family and why you want the national park tour.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's kind of a crazy story, but 3 years ago, me and my husband both found ourselves laid off. I was working for a speakers bureau. My husband was working corporate, and instead of sitting at home during the pandemic, we decided to take our travel trailer and see how many national parks we could hit. On the
Fantastic.
way back from Yellowstone, which was our favorite, we decided to sell everything that we owned, and literally 17 days later we had our house sold, all of our belongings, everything. We moved in full time to our travel trailer and we are still living in it. So it's been about 3.5 years now. July will be 4 years that we've been living in our travel trailer. Yeah, I don't know, we just kind of fell in love with it. My daughter fell in love with it. And so now we do as many. We're taking another trip to several in April. Yeah. So we just have a
So
checklist going.
so your daughter travels with you? Does she homeschool then?
We did for a while. Now she's decided she wants to be in person. So this
Uh-huh.
year we in person here in New Mexico, and
Yeah,
we bought 4 acres up here in the mountains of New Mexico so that we can have a home base. Because
nice.
yeah, now that she's getting older, she needs a little more
Yeah.
stability rather than, moving every month.
Boy, a lot of us with kids who experienced those chaotic changes during the pandemic know that the number of mental health incidents are higher with those kids who were somehow affected their senior year of high school or their freshman year of college. It was a hard thing. So good thing she's going to get some regularity. But I'm in awe of your travel plans because, I always wanted to do that. I wanted to homeschool my kids and visit all the national parks and just live off the grid. Well, that didn't work. Now they're all adults, so maybe I can take the grandkids on a tour.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I say it's never too late. Everyone always says, "When I retire, someday I'll do this." But I mean, we made it happen, but we had the opportunity because schools weren't in. So we
Yeah,
just took the leap, and then yeah, kind of
perfect timing.
getting
Well,
back to
and that was the launch of your speakers bureau. Uh,
yes,
you started Prather Marketing during the pandemic while you started this road tour. So
mhm,
tell me a little bit about the monkeys that um, kind of plagued your mind in that process of leaving your day job, starting the new business, selling your house.
yeah. Oh gosh, it was pretty crazy. Took us a while to get used to the new things. I mean, me and my husband were both working 50, 60 hours a week. We kind of got into this rut where like he was working weekends, I was off on weekends, so it felt like we hardly ever saw each other. When we decided, just kind of took the opportunity, we didn't want to go back to that life. And so a way to do that, I was like, well, I have this crazy idea. I feel like I could start a booking agency myself and that I would have better success than a bureau because bureaus market the speakers. They don't market speakers really, they market the bureau as a whole, as a company. But then an agency is more personal. So I wanted to be able to choose who I was representing, what
Yeah.
topics I was representing, kind of broaden it out because I was at the safety institute safety speaker, so everyone was a safety speaker, and so I just wanted to broaden it out a little more. And so we decided to start this business. We had nothing to lose. I mean, we were already jobless, but we were able to sell our house, so we were able to be debt free. So it's like, why not do it now? And so me and my husband built the business from the ground up, and I think the difference, what really made us have better success was when everybody else was stopped and not doing promoting and marketing during those couple years, we were still doing it, selling virtual talks, selling virtual workshops, calling
Yes.
places that I mean, a lot of people were calling that they would call back from home, but still they needed business to happen and we needed business to happen. So we found the people who were able to still continue and needed to continue. And we made special relationships during those years when a lot of people weren't doing the outreach like we were. So now, 3 years later, or 3.5 years later, it's definitely paid off in our favor that we kept going.
Yeah, definitely. So what does that, uh, growth look like? I'm thinking hockey stick if you've poured that
Yeah.
much into it.
Oh, yeah, in the beginning, of course, we started in October of 2020. We officially started because we had a book of business, several speakers that were still working. And of course, it was difficult in the beginning. Everyone was doing virtual or things would get canceled. I had to include a cancellation clause into my agreements where I really didn't worry about that before because that didn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And then it became more and more and more. But now that we're back in 2024, 2023, events are happening back. These event planners have their sponsors back. They're back in full swing. They're paying again. So actually, January has been insanely busy for us so far because everything is getting, and I wouldn't say normal, but it's definitely getting busier. And I feel like there are more events opportunities than there were before.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because so many things were shut down during the pandemic.
Yes, and then, like, videos and things, became more commonplace, like, us speaking on Zoom became a lot more commonplace, and so,
Yeah.
I mean, I speak from peop to people all over the world, when before that, it was a lot of phone calls and emails. Every once in a while, we'd have a Zoom call, but now I'm on 5 to 6 Zoom calls a day, and oftentimes those are booking speakers or getting new clients or talking to people about, how they can build their speaking business and things like that, so it's really transformed my business a lot from like sitting in an office doing phone calls and returning phone calls and emails. Now it's like a lot more face to face, which I really enjoy a lot more
Right.
actually.
Yeah, I would think. So what does
Mhm.
it look like with that person who engages with you? Are there certain industries that you specialize in terms of, knowing those placements better? Or, how would somebody call you up and say, "Okay, Nona, how are you gonna get me on stage?"
Yeah, for me, the perfect fit client isn't just the motivational keynoter. Like a lot of people, um, the one thing that I really don't like whenever I meet with someone on a discovery call and I say, "What is your topic? What do you speak about? Who is your audience?" They'll say, "I can speak to any and everyone. I just want to be a speaker." And that's just not true. Like you can't just be a speaker. It's usually the not as seasoned speakers that say that. And I'll say, "No, if you really like for my dad, for example, he is a CSP, so certified safety professional and a certified speaking professional, and he worked 20 years in the electric utility industry. So he is actually the expert in the electric utility field. Like that really knows him the best. So he has become the expert in that industry because he knows what he's talking about. They see him as the expert. He's written books about it. So for me, the best fit clients are the ones that are really specific on what audiences that they speak to, what target industries that they speak to. So someone who's very specific. I just got off the phone with a guy that a potential new client who speaks to aviation because that's his background. He's an engineer for aviation and things. So it's like he's going to be very it's easier to sell someone when they're niche than if
Yeah,
they're very broad because you can't just reach out to any and everyone and see what
yeah,
sticks. If they generic topic or say we'll just talk what you want to talk about. Well, no one sees you as the expert if you say you can talk about everything because everyone has
exactly.
niche. Yeah.
So for my industry, for instance, you can search by mental health and kind of create a curated list of speaking engagements.
Exactly. There's lots of mental health events. There's societies, associations, companies have mental health awareness day. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity there, which when places you probably don't even realize.
Well, and
Yeah, as long as we have that niche to search, we can look for those events. Yeah,
and you corrected an assumption of mine that it's already too late to book like a March speaking engagement for International Women's Month or a May speaking engagement for Mental Health Awareness Month. You
yeah.
said no, it's never too late because cancellations happen.
That's true. That is true. I've had a lot of people call, they'll say, I'll have a breakout session speaker at an event, their keynote speaker gets caught, they'll call and say, "Oh, do you think they could fill in as a keynote?" I mean, absolutely. Or like, "Do you have someone in this city that can come and fill in?" And so we get those calls a lot of the times. And I will say, if you're reaching out to fill your calendar, you need to be looking 6 months to a year in advance. So I've already booked one for May of 2025. I've booked one for March of 2025, which is what you're going to be need to be looking out. You need to be reaching out now for March of 2025 events, because it does take typically about 10 follow-ups. Like, you'll do the first phone call, the email, and then the follow-ups after that. Send them books, send them the podcast throughout the year, so that way they remember you throughout the year while they're
Got it.
planning. And then hopefully by December, they'll book you for their March event, is usually how that works. Yeah.
That's good to know. So, and I see in your products and services that you provide some of the marketing assistance that helps people
Yes.
plan. You know, there's
Mhm.
this misnomer that, well, once I'm an expert in something, people are gonna wanna book me, right? But it takes a lot of time to make sure to reinforce that expertise and to remind them. How important is it for speakers to have, like, a video trailer or something that demonstrates their skill?
In this day and age, you definitely have to have a demo video, but I tell everyone it doesn't have to be a really expensive, drawn out video with all like the bells and whistles. I mean, really, they just want to see, because they are looking at so many demo videos that you really have to have. If you don't have a demo video, they're probably not going to look at you. And do the research, because they want to see what you look and sound like on stage. So like 30 seconds to 1 minute video of you on stage is usually really perfect and does the best. If it's like a 5 minute one where you've got like a bunch of people doing testimonials, or you're just speaking in the camera, that's not really what they're looking for. They're looking for verified evidence that you are a speaker on stage that moves around, keeps the audience entertained, keeps, they just want to see what you look and sound like on stage, and make sure you're not going to stand behind a podium and just read from your slides. So yeah, 30
Right.
minute, that's been the best for us actually. Anything more than that, I mean, just think about it as a YouTube. Like, if you go to a YouTube and your YouTube video and you're searching how to fix my dishwasher, are you going to watch the 25-minute video, or are you going to watch the 5-minute video? You're
Yeah,
going to watch the 5-minute
the
video. So
5-minute video, right. Yeah,
yeah, short and sweet is
absolutely.
catches their attention, says, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
That's good, that's good. Well,
Mhm.
it's, I think I'm learning things about the speaking industry, like, I have a friend who travels with her own microphone and camera.
Yeah.
She actually records all of her speaking engagements herself, um,
Yeah. I'll do that.
so that she has all that B-roll to
Mhm.
use. It's brilliant, and there are lots of things you can do, but you don't have to have all those things to
Right.
get started.
No,
That's
definitely not. Yeah.
so what does success look like for you in 2024?
Yeah, of course, I mean, I wanna sell as many speakers as possible. Like 5 a week would be amazing. Plus, I'm looking for speaking engagements for myself so I can also promote my business. Usually whenever I do go to an event and I'll have a booth, I mean, I'm selling other people, but then I'm also looking for clients as well. So I wanna do more, definitely more workshops, small scale seminars, being on podcast, and just getting the word out about, I mean, every speaker that I have, I go through, I don't just accept any and everyone. So, like, I want to see the video and make sure that they are a good speaker. I want to make sure they do have the marketing materials, they're one sheet ready. If they have a book, that's a plus. You don't have to. They have a good landing page on their website, and which we go through all of this before we onboard anyone. But like I said, the niche speaker, not just the keynoter that's there to speak about any and everything, but like really specific clients. So I have a set number of clients that just use me for their booking agents, just bring me in as their booking agent. And I really love that relationship. So I'm always looking for clients who are going to be with me for a really longer term, so that we can build our business together, and
Yeah.
keep those contracts coming in and going out, and they can use me as their booking, which is great. I mean, I feel like having a booking agent on a speaker side, it makes you look more professional.
Right.
You have to deal with the details of everything. I get the
Yeah,
program agreement, the signatures, everything like that. And then for the everyone who needs leads, we also have a call center that we research leads and do all of that for every specific client, which is really definitely open book. I mean, everyone can look at their leads at any time. So yeah,
that's
I just
beautiful.
trying to make it as
Well,
easy
I
as for my
wanted
clients.
to talk about um, your services just because th- I've been collecting all these really brilliant people who have so much to say, and some of them just haven't started, don't know where to start, don't know how to start. So I'm glad to know that you can help people from the very beginning and even to, create the long-term plan. But I also want to ask you this monkey question because I know that there are people out there who are either contemplating or currently working with their husband in a business. So tell me about the monkeys about having a family business and working with your husband.
Oh gosh. Well, so like whenever I was writing my book, I had to put like a 2 hour window on my calendar, and my husband, this was during the summer, would take my daughter somewhere and actually leave so I could concentrate. So
Yeah,
there's that portion where sometimes I feel like they sacrifice their time at home for me so that I can actually focus. Because when kids are running around, husband's asking you for things, you get distracted and you
yeah,
you forget your to-do list. So I have to like actually put it out on my calendar, be like, well, I need you to take her to go do something because I have like a podcast I need to be on and I don't want distractions. There's
right.
things like that. And then what's really great for me and my husband, he's definitely a numbers guy. He was a financial advisor for a long time. So he's a numbers guy. So all of our budgets, marketing, everything like that goes. So I'm
Beautiful.
more of the probably the crazy one because I'm like willing to talk to anyone and do anything and go anywhere for my business. And my husband's usually the ones is like, hold on, wait, does this make sense? And I'm like, but it sounds so much fun. And I can meet so many people. And he's like, hold on. And then there's sometimes where like I'm speaking in Las Vegas in April at Game Changers, and he is
Yes.
going with him and my daughter are both going with me. So we're super excited about that.
Oh,
That's
good.
see a couple national parks. So it's fun working. It definitely have to have clear jobs for each person. Like, so he doesn't do Zoom calls. He doesn't look for new clients. He doesn't try to pitch any speakers for events. And I don't really mess with the numbers. I mean, we talk about it and I know what we have and what our budget is, but he really takes care of those details. So
Oh,
having a clear job for everyone so that we're not overlapping on
it's a
accident.
perfect example of how everyone's doing the thing they do best.
Exactly.
I sure
Yes.
want somebody to do all my numbers.
Yes.
It's the
Um,
worst part when you really
yeah.
wanna do the soul work, and
Yep.
somebody's gotta keep the budget, but, good for
Exactly.
you. This is a beautiful thing. And how old is your daughter?
Oh, she will be 11 in just a few days, actually. Her 11th birthday is on the 16th.
Oh,
So,
fun. That's such a great age. They're just discovering who they are at 10 and 11. I have a friend who used to teach 5th grade, and it was her favorite year to teach because they were so
yeah.
bright and curious, but
Yeah.
not, enough of a teenager to think that they know everything.
Yes. Oh, she's way smarter, well more rounded than me. And I think it's probably because of our travels and just
Yeah.
she sees me being a business owner and she's really self-confident. I was not as self-confident as she was at this age. And I saw my dad building his business and helped him build his business at even her age. I was answering phone calls and doing
Nice.
pitches to events and sending, I would come home and he would be like, go put all these postcards in the mail. And, it's like,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, but I don't know. She has way
Well,
more self
and
I did at that age.
actualized or, kids these days have access to so much more,
Yeah.
and I'm no longer surprised when my daughters they're all adults now, but th I have more business experience, but they have great ideas.
Yeah, she does.
And
Yes. Hmm.
yeah, it's fun to realize we have a lot to learn from the next generation just as
Definitely.
much as we have to teach them. Have you seen the, movie called Chef about the Cubano food truck?
No, I'll have to look it up.
Family should watch well, be careful. I should be careful when I say the family. There are certain scenes the family doesn't wanna watch together, but
Oh,
but it's really about this chef who, goes on the road with a food truck, and his, I think, 9 or 10-year-old son starts tweeting the process of making the cubanos, which are that's an art form if you're especially if you're from Cuba or from Florida, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and everywhere they would go, they would show up on the corner where they're scheduled to park, and people are already lined up. And the dad's like, "How is this possible? How do these people know?" And the kid just goes, "Yeah, I've been sharing it on, Twitter." And he's like, "Twitter? What? What's that?" So I
Oh, yeah,
love
to see that one.
yeah, it's funny because, um, just as much as it's about food, if you're a foodie, it's about the
Yeah.
use of social media and how simple
Mhm.
it is. This is a 9-year-old who's
Yes.
creating all this awareness just because he has a good camera angle. And, you know, um,
Yeah.
one of my daughters is the artiste when it comes to camera angles and fancy, ways of photographing a scene that I might just take head on. So we have so much to learn. So much to learn from our kids.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So what about Nona, life on the road?
Mhm.
Um, talking about being on the road all the time. What's it like as a mom not having that home base? I know you just bought some land, so you had some land to park on, but you're
Yeah.
still really living out of your travel
Yes,
trailer,
we're
right?
still yeah, it's gonna take a while to get all of our, everything built, and we still need water, sewer, electric
Oh,
hookups and all
sure.
that. Gonna be in the
So
camper for a while. But,
are there any monkeys around not
yeah.
having that piece of, real estate there?
Yes, definitely. Because I mean, you don't really have a yard, we have a couple dogs, and it gets crazy, and then we're in a small space together, so you really, sometimes we just have to find our place. Like, she has a room, she actually has the biggest room, but so she'll go in there and be like, I just need to decompress, and she'll go in there and watch her show. Thank goodness we have a door on our bedroom, so we go in there and can decompress. But then, we like to come together to watch TV and play games and stuff. But yeah, it can get a little crazy, especially, well, right now we woke up to a couple feet of snow. It's insane right now. I mean, like, it's
Yeah,
up to our stairs, and like letting the dogs out in that, and then of course, we fight about who's gonna do it, whose turn is it to go outside 'cause it's like 3 degrees outside right now.
oh,
Um,
yeah.
things happen, yeah, and then trying to run a business as a mom, there are days like she did get a snow day, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm working, I mean, you have to entertain yourself for the day," and,
Yeah,
I babysat some kids who did not respect that, and I was like, "Okay, Janie, you need to tell them how to act when your parent works from home." Because a lot of kids think, "Oh, if your parents don't go out to work, then they're not really working." I'm like, "No, I am working. I really am." And she's really, really great at, um, being able to recognize that, and she knows when I'm on a call not to disturb me and stuff, which I had to do with my dad.
right. Of
I
course.
remember standing at his desk while he was on the phone with a potential client. I would just stand there and wait for him to get done. So she
Oh,
thing, yeah.
well, it's good that you were conditioned that way, so you know that it can be great. I remember
Yep.
my kids, like, pounding on the glass door to my office, and I'm trying to ignore them. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Like, "Hold on."
It is hard work to, be a working parent with kids at home, but, you take the cake. I think you get the Academy Award of working moms.
Oh,
But back to the speaking, we're about to wrap up. Our time's almost done. Is there one thing or 3 things that you want potential speakers to know before we wrap?
yeah, I mean, it is a long game, and there is a lot of work that goes into it. So, you go to an event and you think, "Oh, that person is so lucky they're up on stage." The truth is, they probably spent years fostering that opportunity, and they finally got it. And it probably didn't happen by one phone call. It probably happened by many, many phone calls, many,
Yeah,
many mailings, many, many emails, many, many podcasts, many, many opportunities before that to get on that big stage and get the big bucks. And sometimes they don't even get the big bucks.
mm,
Sometimes, yeah. So love to talk to any and everyone. So if anyone ever wants to just have a conversation, I love to talk about how to start a speaking business, how to have a successful speaking business. I'll send anyone a copy of my book, which kind of lays out what marketing materials you need, how to talk to and find opportunities. And so I'll just say it is a very rewarding industry to be a speaker in the speaking industry, but it does take a lot of work, and there's a lot of background work that a lot of people don't realize,
Yeah.
goes on. So, just be patient.
Good to know, and good to know we need to give ourselves the grace of a longer ramp to get there.
Definitely.
So, get started with Nona now. Go to her website and take a look at it. You've been listening to the Crazy as Usual podcast with Donna Carlson and Nona Prather today. You can catch us on my YouTube channel, Crazy as Usual. I'll also send out a LinkedIn newsletter with more details and show notes on Nona and how to get in touch with her. And I'll copy that on Instagram, Crazy as Usual with Donna. So you should probably be able to find us one way or another. And here's my parting statement. Stay crazy so the world can see how brilliant you are. Take care.